For the last 6 weeks, Channel 4 has been filming 24 volunteers at an undisclosed location in Australia. Behind a veil of secrecy, they have been taking part in a groundbreaking experiment on drugs in sport.
This is your arena, guys. Today, you take it.
It's already the biggest story of the Olympics. In the UK, 20 top sportsmen and women have tested positive for steroid use in the last 12 months. Yet, because no one willingly admits to using performance-enhancing drugs, there's no hard evidence about how widespread they are, how well they work, and what risks the athletes are taking. On the eve of the official opening of the 28th Olympiad, Channel 4 puts the legal and illegal drugs used by Olympic athletes to the test. Do they work? How well? For which events and with what, if any, side effects? Tonight, all will be revealed. Here in New South Wales, a unique scientific study, funded by Channel 4, is about to get underway. Of our 24 volunteers from Britain, America, New Zealand, Canada and Australia, 18 are about to be dosed with the granddaddy of performance-enhancing drugs, anabolic steroids. None of our volunteers are professional athletes. If they were, they would be banned from international competition.
Where are the guards?
In the world's first televised experiment to see what difference illegal drugs make, these volunteers will be openly injected with anabolic steroids. How they exercise, relax, eat and even think will be rigorously monitored.
The breakfast of a champion.
This is home for the next 6 weeks. Casuarina Beach near Byron Bay in New South Wales.
Oh, yeah. What's the third board? Wipe your feet.
It's going to be a ball. I think we're going to have a great time here.
Well, I'm going to love it.
All good, mate. Enjoying it.
Our 24 subjects have been matched for age, body weight, training history and ability. Among them are Donny Farki, a local Brisbane boy from a Lebanese family. He's a youth worker and a businessman.
Obviously, testosterone produces a lot of anger. Come check it out.
29-year-old Vincent Hall, or Skins, is from Nottingham, England. Ashley Haber, a former pro tennis player who hails from Oregon.
They're gonna give me steroids and have me box kangaroos or something.
Trenton Rosted is from Texas. He currently works as a bartender in Los Angeles. Kyle Yamamura is 24 and has come all the way from Toronto, Canada.
I'm a good boy, don't get in too much trouble. Got feeling in my fingers, so that's good.
Steve Buckley is a personal trainer from Norwich in the UK, and Dave Sedgwick, or Cowboy, is 26 and from Australia.
I don't even want to leave. I'm loving it.
18 of these volunteers will be our main steroid study group. The remaining 6 will take a variety of other training and performance aids. They'll compete against each other clean in 3 Olympic events. In 6 weeks, they'll compete against each other again in Channel 4's own Mini Drugs Olympics. And this time, at least half of them will be doped up.
The use of performance-enhancing drugs like steroids in baseball, football, and other sports is dangerous, and it sends the wrong message.
There isn't an athlete out there who doesn't take some kind of supplement.
If you believe that the people that you're competing against on the world stage are taking drugs, then immediately you're at a disadvantage. You know, you might as well set up your blocks a couple of metres behind the starting line.
It is a breaking the rules decision you make in life. It's like me walking into a store and stealing something out of the store instead of paying for it.
10,500 athletes will represent 199 countries in this year's Olympic Games in Athens. But the biggest headlines are liable to be about the Olympic cheats rather than the Olympic medals.
The war against drug use in sport is for the IOC, for the IAAF, for WADA, it's their Vietnam. This is not a war they're going to win.
So tonight I call on team owners, union representatives, coaches and players to take the lead, to send the right signal, to get tough and to get rid of steroids now.
While presidents, politicians and the press brand those caught as cheats, liars and national disgraces, the truth is we don't know who's taking drugs or how well they work. In charge of our experiment is Dr. Robert Weatherby and his team at Southern Cross University, Lismore. They're acknowledged throughout the world as experts on the science of anabolic steroids and other performance-enhancing drugs. Their results will be analysed, peer-reviewed, and then published, eagerly anticipated by athletes, anti-doping agencies, and even the IOC.
I don't believe that we know very much about all of the pharmacological responses of the androgenic anabolic steroids at all at the moment. Much of the work that had been reported up until the 1990s was really anecdotal material. There were no well-controlled scientific studies. The first one of those was actually not published until 1996, and the second study was one that we had published. So there's been a few more since. But there've been lots of papers published about people saying, yes, I took a steroid and look, I got better performance. But we didn't have the ability to say, yes, we're quite sure scientifically that that is in fact the truth.
See, I've got the best room, and what else can I say?
The steroids our volunteers will be taking are not only banned at the Olympics, they're also illegal street drugs, a Class C controlled substance like cannabis and mild amphetamines.
Oh, mate, you can't expect me to get up there. Oh, I'll give you arm wrestle for it.
Steroid abuse can be dangerous. It can lower your sperm count, cause liver damage, depression, and even paranoia.
Mighty Mary boy.
It's yours, mate.
That doesn't stop Olympic athletes from taking them. Sprinters Ben Johnson, Jason Livingston and former European 100-metre champion Dwayne Chambers have all tested positive for steroids, as have shot putters CJ Hunter and Paul Edwards, as well as 5,000-metre Olympic champion Dieter Baumann. Every aspect of this experiment has been ethically approved in accordance with international law, and each volunteer has had an extensive medical screening before becoming one of Dr. Weatherby's human research subjects.
What the research is briefly about is looking at effects of the administration of an anabolic steroid. Now, what we're concerned about is how these drugs affect performance, how they affect the various physiological factors in the body, and especially what happens to the biochemistry. And so what is occurring with the drugs after you've taken them? What does the body do to the drugs? So that's another thing that we want to look at. And we also want to look at some of the mood changes, behavioural changes and psychological changes. Okay, so if I could give you out these consent forms. And
however small, there are still risks associated with this experiment, and it's vital Dr. Weatherby's volunteers understand this before they sign the consent forms. Androgenic anabolic steroids, known as anabolic steroids, are a synthesized version of the male hormone testosterone. They bulk up your muscles and are also thought to help repair muscle damage. Dr. Robert Weatherby and his team will be injecting his subjects with testosterone enanthate, one of the most popular and widely used street steroids.
We were certainly interested in looking at anabolic steroids, and we chose testosterone enanthate, particularly because the World Health Organization had been using it in a trial for a male contraceptive. And we were a little bit puzzled by statements that were made which said that there were no side effects or minimal side effects, because our belief would be, from what we'd studied with athletes' use of such drugs, that strength gains, increase in size, weight gains would certainly be a side effect if you were taking it for another purpose.
But there's a twist.
Some people will get the real thing, others will get a placebo. Now, unless we do a placebo, we've got no way of knowing what's a drug effect and what's an effect of something else.
It's not just the volunteers who don't know who's actually on steroids. This is a double-blind trial. No one involved, none of the scientists, none of the coaches, none of the production team know who's on steroids or who's getting a harmless placebo.
Okay, so obviously I don't know who's on steroids and who's on the placebo, and if I did, I'd seriously compromise the research, because no matter how hard I probably tried to pretend I didn't know, my body language would give it away. And I don't want to risk it, so I don't want to know. And I mean, it's best for me to do that. And I'm quite happy to wait and see.
The steroids won't work as well if the boys don't work out, which is why the volunteers will be put through their paces by Jim Cowan, former athlete turned Olympic standard coach.
Principally, I thought that the whole idea of looking at how people may perform on and off steroids was quite interesting, the scientific research behind that. I thought the fact that we're using guys who aren't from a sporting background to do that was essential.
Very exciting.
Jim will be assisted by David and Craig. They'll be using the training facilities here at Casuarina Beach to implement the weight training program designed to help the steroids do their job. Before steroids are given to our subjects, Dr. Weatherby needs to know what condition they're in now. Then there are the blood tests.
What I'm doing is I'm taking blood out of these volunteers before and after exercise. So I'm going to look at those immune cells and see how they change and how exercise affects those.
Even their thoughts won't be their own.
We're monitoring the athletes' moods on a daily basis, so we want to know how the training's going for them. We'd like to know if they're coping with the training, for starters. We're interested in also mood changes because we have a drug intervention going on. We'd like to monitor to see if there's any mood changes in that over time. And of course, that's one of the things we're clearly looking to see what may happen over the period of the 6 weeks.
However, even though a single weight has yet to be lifted in anger, 2 of the volunteers, Cam and Barry, look like becoming early casualties.
I'm feeling a bit woozy now.
Are you?
Yeah.
You want me to stop?
Yeah.
Okay. Sonia? Can I have some oxygen? Yep. Thanks.
I don't like blood being taken at the best of times, but my arm had swollen up, and as soon as I saw it, it just made me felt really sick. I thought I was going to hit the deck.
It's the second day of testing and 2 volunteers have fainted at the sight of blood. They haven't even got to the first injection. In New South Wales, Australia, 24 volunteers from Canada, America, Britain, New Zealand and Australia are involved in a groundbreaking experiment with the legal and illegal drugs used by Olympic competitors. 18 of our volunteers will be in the main steroid group. First, Dr. Weatherby and his team are measuring their muscle mass, fat distribution and proportion. These measurements will establish everyone's starting point or baseline.
If we're going to find out what changes are going to occur, we need to measure their baseline, where they're at now. So we're doing a number of tests over the next few days, one of which is the cycle sprint.
3, 2, 1. Push, 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 push.
The faster the subject pedals over a 10-second period, the more energy he burns and the more power he creates. In 6 weeks' time, Dr. Weatherby and exercise physiologist Shane Rogerson will be looking to see if either of these factors change with the addition of drugs. The volunteers will be looking for an improvement on the field in Channel 4's own Mini Drugs Olympics.
Although they're saying to us that it's all about personal achievement, our results are completely isolated, and the whole study is how well we progress. Obviously, there's still going to be a bit of banter between the lads, so we want to do as best we can and come in and go, yeah, we did this, yeah, we did that.
22-year-old Martin Black is a personal trainer from Nottingham.
The experiment in general was intriguing, but we had concern about being injected with testosterone and anthate because we don't want to be made out to be complete steroid meatheads, you know. But through talking to Dr. Weatherby, he made it clear that, you know, this is a very small dosage that's there for just to see a change in performance.
Nice and slow. Push, 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 push.
Although the baseline tests are designed purely to gauge each individual's ability, there's no doubt that competition between each athlete is already a factor.
Where did you get on chest? 125.
125. Where did you get on legs?
550.
Did you?
No, I didn't really.
Oh,
As good as you.
Win it.
No.
Barry is a computer salesman from Peterborough.
Everybody thought that Gary was going to be, you know, the big winner on the bench press. He's just his pure, you know, size across his chest and his arms just goes to prove that size isn't everything. You know, it's all about, you know, the strength of the muscle and not the size of it. 135k from Cam, absolutely incredible. You know, I think it's going to be a long while before I'm anywhere up to that standard. And Ashley, with his build very similar to my own, to be pushing 410 kilos on a leg press is pretty remarkable.
I was the only other person to break the 400 mark, so considering what I've been doing for the past few months, I'm happy with that.
Ex-pro tennis player Ashley Haber has a laid-back approach to the trial, but does have reservations about some issues.
The injection part of the project was one of the biggest dilemmas for me, whether to do it or not, because I definitely am not in favor of taking steroids. So it made me a little nervous, but after talking to the doctors and understanding more about it, I feel comfortable, and, you know, it's a few weeks without being around girls, you know, whatever, I can deal. I'll get over it. But yeah, it's a test. It's probably good for me.
The big day has arrived. Out of the 24 volunteers assembled by Dr. Robert Weatherby and his team at Southern Cross University, 18 of them are about to receive the first of a series of injections. Only 9 of this group will actually be getting a dose of the anabolic steroid, testosterone and anthate. The other 9 will be injected with a harmless solution.
We're basically going to get some steroids put in our behind parts, so we're just waiting around at the minute to get the injections, so yeah, a bit nervous.
Eddie Daniels, like every other volunteer for this study, is a keen sportsman and has his own reasons for being here.
I've been backpacking for a while, which is not well, it's a great lifestyle in some aspects, but not for your sort of body and stuff. I just wanted to basically sort of have a sort of detox for 6 weeks and just sort of do a bit of fitness work, really. Especially in a sort of environment like this where you're thrown together with people you wouldn't maybe be friends with as much usually in life. It's sort of obviously important to be able to get away from some of those people sometimes and just chill out and be able to do your own thing.
We're going to start the first of the administration of the steroid group. There are people who are going to take, or be given, the testosterone enanthate, and there are others who are going to get a placebo. Just want to sit down for a few moments before we go in next door and undo it.
David Sedgwick has a stud farm for miniature horses in Queensland. Everyone just calls him Cowboy.
In Australia, we don't get called cowboys, but that's the American saying sort of thing. I don't mind a nickname. Everybody's got nicknames here, but if they want to call me cowboy, that's fair enough. I was in the army a few years back, and I was fit back then, and I've gotten a bit lazy in the past few years, and not so much lazy, still doing some physical work. I just want to be taught by the best and be able to take it back and leave me in good stead, so then I can go back and work by myself and just do some training and weights and things like that when I get back home.
Previous studies have shown that steroids should make the muscles grow, but they've also shown some less welcome effects.
One of the things which anabolic steroids, as they're known, are known to do when people take them in high doses is they cause acne. Another thing that they can do is cause a receding hairline. Now, I don't know whether you know that males who have a high testosterone level naturally usually go bald.
I've got thick hair.
You got thick hair?
Yeah.
Another thing that happens is it has an effect on the testes, and it can cause them to shrink. I mean, it'll be reversible.
With us, because some of us are a bit, we're sort of, as you can say, full of beans at the moment because there's no women around. When we actually have this libido one, will that up the ante even more?
Well, it's possible it might decrease it.
It might decrease it. I think that might be good. I think that might be good because I tell you what.
And one of the things we're going to ask is actually, I mean, it's one way we can measure it, and I'm just speaking in a scientific way. How many erections do you have? If you can think of your baseline now to next week, might be none, but it's an important question for us to ask to find out the effect that the administration of this steroid is having.
Well, to be honest,
even the thought of acne, hair loss and shrinking testes doesn't put Cowboy off.
Please come in, David. Okay, you've met Marie before. Okay, so
We might start by doing your blood pressure and your pulse, if that's okay. No problem. Have a seat. Just slip your jacket off for me.
In this experiment, neither the volunteers nor the scientists know who's being injected with steroids and who gets a mere placebo. This double-blind method will ensure unbiased results.
I'll just pull your pants just down a little bit further because I need to find some landmarks so that I do what I'm doing in the right spot. And I will tell you when I'm going to do it, okay? I won't shock you.
All right.
This dose of steroid is very low, only 3.5 milligrams per kilo of body weight, much lower than bodybuilders and other steroid users would take.
Right.
Now, athletes themselves, when they abuse such steroids, take something like 50 times the dose that we are giving. And there are many reports of people who've used steroids over long periods of time having fatal heart attacks.
And we're finished.
Oh, yeah.
How bad was that?
I've had better.
You're done. Enjoy the rest of your day.
These are the first of 6 injections that Cowboy and the rest of the main trial group will receive, but it'll take time before the steroids have their full effect on the boys' bodies.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You want to just sit for a minute before you walk out?
No, it's all good. It's all right.
Don't go out if you're not all right. Just sit down for a bit.
No, I'm fine.
Cowboy, you alright?
Oh, yeah,
Show us the tattoo.
Right, they got me right in the kisser, eh?
Easy.
Just come up with some outcomes.
The boys need to train hard for the steroids to build muscle. The science team have devised a rigorous training program to get the best from the drug. International coach Jim Cowan will put the boys through their paces, mimicking the Olympic disciplines of speed, strength and stamina.
OK, on Monday, we're going to have a mini games in the afternoon. It's going to involve a couple of athletics events. When the volunteers arrived, I was sort of looking at them, seeing how they moved athletically, whether they may be of an athletic bias. Some of them look like biomechanical nightmares, putting it bluntly. But, you know, that's real coaching. You work within an individual's limitations.
To ensure that the training alone doesn't account for any performance gain, Dr. Weatherby and his team have matched the boys on their age, body weight and ability.
You want a nice flat back, down, up, down, up. Down to 1 second. 3.
Knackering. I lost count after 100.
First one knee, down, up, then the other one. So what you do is you build a nice rhythm. Stop! The next training session starts by recovering from this one properly. Okay? That means cooling down, which we'll do in a minute. That means good nutrition. That means good rest.
The importance of recovery in training cannot be understated. It's a public sort of misconception that it's during a training session that the adaptation process happens. It's actually not. What happens during training is that we overload a system, the body. The body then to adapt has to recover. That's where it rebuilds itself stronger. That it really demonstrates the importance of recovery.
Our 24 volunteers have left their family, friends and jobs for 6 weeks to take part in this experiment. None of them are being paid, and they have only limited contact with their loved ones. They've been living together now for a week, but they've yet to meet in competition. This programme will explore two things: how drugs affect their bodies and whether they help them win.
The reason why we come out on these day trips is just to forget about it for a while. Being cooped up there around all these people all the time, just to get out and kayak around Australia is brilliant. Really sets your mind free, you know.
I enjoyed it actually, more than I expected. Gotta say that.
Watch out, buddy. Don't move. Just a spider bait.
Thanks, bro. You did well, cowboy.
It's all good, buddy.
Monday morning, week 2. At a secret location, the boys will compete against each other before any steroids take effect, nor will they have any other training aids or drugs. In 6 weeks' time, they'll compete against each other again in our own Mini Drugs Olympics. So, the first event tests speed, the 100-metre sprint, an event which demands absolute concentration and a controlled explosion of power. The current world record is a staggering 9.78 seconds set by Tim Montgomery, currently the subject of a drug investigation in the US, which he denies.
6 in the third heat. Gentlemen, on your marks. Get set.
The first 2 heats go according to coach Jim Cowan's predictions, with Kiwi, Chris Thompson and Danny Jackson all doing well. Heat 3.
Gary B's powerful, Steve Buckley's powerful. I think they may lead through 40-50 metres, but I'm not sure they'll hold the distance. Tip, probably Ashley in lane 3.
On this occasion, Jim gets it wrong. Ashley is third, Steve Buckley second, but it's Skins in first place with the best time of the day, 11.78 seconds.
Done it for my little son Joshua Langanore. That was for you, but definitely I knew I was going to win 100 metres. It's like, it's what I'm here for, to win.
There's barely a second separating the top 5 runners. Competition in this event will be fierce when it comes to the final games in 6 weeks' time. Next up is the shot put. Heaving a 16-pound ball through the air requires considerable strength. Bigger athletes should win, but technique is vitally important. In the 1980s, international shot put records were smashed by pumped-up Eastern Europeans, dosed with anabolic steroids. In 1994, the UK's Paul Edwards tested positive for steroids and was sent home from the Commonwealth Games in Victoria. A decade later, world shot put champion CJ Hunter did nothing to improve the sport's tarnished image when he was found to have 1,000 times the legal limit of the anabolic steroid nandrolone in his system. Today, the 4 athletes who pull off the tricky combination of strength and acceleration best are Jeff Shea, Steve Buckley and Ashley Haber, with the winning throw coming from Big Dan Lasdinis with 12.57 metres. The final event is a stamina event, the 5,000 metres. Within minutes, Skins and Kiwi drop out.
Come on, lads. So we'll get over and get some ice on both of you.
By the halfway stage, the 13 athletes remaining are scattered, but one runner has begun to impose himself. Australian Gary Whitelaw has started lapping some other competitors. Even Trenton, practiced at this distance, is out of Gary's league and is finally lapped by him. Ultimately, Gary Whitelaw laps some of the boys 4 times and clocks a truly surprising 19.42 minutes. The world record for the 5,000 metres is 12.37 minutes, held by Kenenisa Bekele of Ethiopia. African dominance of this event was only ever threatened by German Olympic champion Dieter Baumann, a legend in distance running, until 2 tests in 1999 found 10 times the legal limit of the steroid nandrolone in his system. The former gold medal winner claimed someone had spiked his toothpaste.
Hey, can only get better though, mate. Oh, shit.
Come on, lads!
God knows what's going to happen in the next 6 weeks.
The thing that sucked was some guy lapped me. And I did good. I was like, what the fuck?
Come the final games, it'll be difficult for anyone to match the amazing pace Gary Whitelaw set in this event today. Overall, the stars of the day are Ashley Haber from the steroids group and Steve Buckley, who will be taking legal aids. But while Ashley and Steve celebrate, 9 of the boys have been injured.
What does it feel like? Like a throbbing pain in my crotch.
For them, it's ice baths and physio. However badly injured they are today, when they come to run in our mini-Olympics in 6 weeks' time, the athletes will want to win. We'll be looking to see how much each athlete improves and how effective the drugs have been. It's now 2 weeks since Dr. Robert Weatherby's steroid injection experiment began here in Australia. For the volunteers, it's the day after their first athletic competition, and the full extent of their injuries is being assessed. Kyle, the Canadian, seems particularly badly hurt.
This one was the worst one, is it?
I tore my hamstring in a 100-meter sprint and tried to run through it, but I don't think I'll be sprinting for a long time.
That's definitely a little bit tighter than the other side. I'll let you hop up and I'll just check your pelvic levels.
Serious injury is the curse of the elite athlete. Performance-enhancing drugs, legal and illegal, are used in precisely these situations to speed up recovery and allow the athlete to keep training. And even something as serious as torn hamstrings can be put into a fast recovery mode with a properly designed and supervised rehabilitation program. In the space of 24 hours, Kyle and several other casualties are already coming back into training.
I've been to physio yesterday for electro and ultrasound therapy, and I'm feeling pretty ace today.
There are 3 groups of athletes. The first 2 we can't yet tell apart, those on steroids and those on placebo.
Hello there, how you all going today?
Now, with the immediate impact of Kyle's injuries minimised, it's time for those not in the steroid group to get their first taste of the sort of legal drugs and aids that may be used by athletes in Athens.
The ones that we've got here are not banned. So these 2 of them were banned until the beginning of January this year, which is the pseudoephedrine and the caffeine. They weren't totally banned, they had a cut-off. So you have small amounts present in the urine, but if you went over the cut-off, then it was deemed to be a positive.
5 volunteers will be taking a legal performance-enhancing supplement. The 6th will train with a machine that simulates high-altitude training. But before they can take anything, it's off for a random drugs test, as recreational drugs might interfere with the effect of the performance aids.
Because I've done a lot of work with supplements myself, so I had an interest to see actually what effect that they would have.
Steve Buckley, second in the 100-metre sprint, will be taking colostrum, the rich breast milk which a mother produces just after giving birth. Steve could take the milk from any mammal. In this case, it's from a cow and it's powdered.
Just been given my colostrum to take for my supplement, so I've just now got to take the first dose today. It's all pre-packaged, so I'm looking for day 1.
It can taste so disgusting that users throw up, but it's packed with immune cells and hormones which are thought to increase muscle growth.
That's all right, actually. That's all right. It just tastes the milk and a bit of vanilla. They've flavoured it with vanilla, so.
Only person in the world is you.
It's claimed colostrum can help you with explosive power events like sprinting. It takes 3 to 4 weeks for its effects to peak. Perfect timing for Steve's 100-metre sprint in the final games. Over 300 tonnes of colostrum were sold last year in the USA alone. Over the next few weeks, with intense coaching, Steve's sprinting improves dramatically. But will it be enough to give Skins in the steroid group a run for his money?
I know he's training hard, I can see it. I've just spoke to him, he did say he'd like to beat me, but he will not. It's just not in him, and I can see that.
Hang on.
Kyle is going to take Tribulus.
I'm taking Tribulus. It's a fruit and root extract. It's supposed to mirror anabolic steroids, but it's all herbal.
Tribulus is the extract of a naturally occurring tropical plant which has been used extensively by East European weightlifters.
And they taste lovely, almost like pizza. I lied, they taste awful.
Previous studies have suggested that it helps with power events by mimicking the effects of steroids, encouraging the body to produce more natural testosterone.
It tricks your brain into thinking you're not producing enough testosterone. And then so your body produces more testosterone. And that's how it raises your testosterone levels.
Yeah, I've got my doubts whether there will be any effects from the use of Tribulus. The fact that it's not doing anything has of concern to me, if that's in fact what is occurring, in that the long-term risks may in fact be similar to that of steroids.
Injured in the 100 metres, Nigel Collette will be taking creatine monohydrate. Creatine is the world's biggest selling and most researched training supplement. If the claims are correct, creatine should help Nigel in the shot put.
Creatine is a natural substance found in the body. So when you start to fatigue, your creatine levels are apparently dropping. So the creatine, which is attached to a phosphate, thank you, Dr. Weatherby, has So it's more for explosive power, and so for training it will help you, and also in probably the 100 metres and say the shot put as well.
Now, creatine is one that a lot of research has been carried out on it, and it is able to improve and enhance performance, specifically where people have short bursts of intermittent high-intensity exercise. It's not useful, for example, in an endurance activity.
Day 1, 20 grams. Look at that. He didn't actually tell me how much water to put in there, really. A little splash. That's on the rocks, of course. And then a little stir. Kind of looks like a pina colada, really, doesn't it? A little cocktail umbrella, a little straw. Maybe I should take it out in the sun chair out there, perhaps. Ugh. I think you definitely need it with cordial. That tastes like shit. But sports enthusiasts all over the world can't be wrong. Creatine really works.
A few hours later, Nigel, having taken too much at once, is in severe difficulties. A common side effect of creatine is diarrhea. It's 7 days since our volunteer steroid group were injected, and today is injection day 2. There are a number of known side effects which could provide clues as to who's on the steroids and who's merely on a placebo. And our volunteers are becoming curious about changes in their moods and their bodies.
The last time I actually had it, it really was painful, definitely.
So you're a bit anxious about that?
Yeah.
But otherwise,
fine.
You're fine.
I remember last time, it was quite an experience.
It was, wasn't it?
It inhibited my walking posture for like 2 days.
Now, your general appearance, you look a bit tired.
Very tired. Very, very tired.
I had 2 hours sleep last night. I couldn't sleep.
Couldn't sleep?
No.
What about your general feeling of well-being? Just overall, how you feel?
Oh, I've been a bit down, a bit moody, I suppose.
You don't feel as happy? A bit irritable, is it?
Yeah, that's bang on the word.
The gynecomastia one, which was the nipples, there's nothing there?
They seem alright.
Seem okay?
Think, yeah.
Is there any changes?
Well, I've put on 5 kilos in 2 weeks. That's a huge change.
Testicular size. Changes there?
No.
No. But what about libido? What's any changes?
Not very high since I've been overhead, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
That's interesting one?
Yes. Yeah, it has changed actually.
Huh?
Yeah.
Gone down or gone up?
Up.
Not so much more erection, it's just horny.
It could be just like the fact that it's been a long time and I don't really like bash the bishop, as one could say, so it's just like, just feeling a bit due.
Scientific evidence to date suggests that gains or side effects only become apparent after 6 weeks. But after just 2 weeks, the boys themselves feel that they can see definite effects. The uncertainty about who is really on steroids has got them making wild guesses, not least because they can't be sure about other factors which might be playing a part.
I just had reservations about having the injection this morning, because I thought, well, if it is the steroid, I don't really like the person I'm becoming.
What it is Tex, we can't tell if he's on testosterone or not because he's moody. This guy is moody, man. My guy?
It's called PMS, bro.
Yeah, pretty mean. No, bro, answer the question, man. Is it fair?
Is what
Is it
fair?
fair that we're telling the truth that you're the moodiest punk in this house?
Oh, I don't care. Say what you want.
See?
Say what you will.
It's kicking in when I was on the World Cup, man.
Yeah, I think it's changed me. It's making me more angry. Like everything. Like the littlest, stupidest, trivial thing. It's just intensified so much. It's scary. I mean, I hope that I'm on it so that when I come off it, I'm not so grumpy and stuff like that.
Tonight we are going to dinner with all the boys from all over the world almost.
They might be research subjects, but they're also fit young men with pumped-up libidos. After dinner, some of them decide to make a night of it and drive off to the pubs and clubs in Surfers Paradise.
Did that message come
Nigel doesn't make it back until after lunch the next day.
I fell asleep and I missed my lift back up here. And I have run through and apologise. Now we go through the coaches.
That's Nigel's story, and for the moment he's sticking to it.
Yeah.
It's now 3 weeks since the baseline tests. Today, at the midpoint tests, Shane Rogerson and his team will once again be recording individual performances in leg and arm power. There will also be a 10-second cycle sprint.
It's really an exciting part because there hasn't been anything published which we've had such a short period of time for administration of steroid. So it's really going to be exciting and interesting to see whether we can pick up any gains in those particular measures at this point of time because of the shortness of time. Just how quickly does a steroid work?
There's no scientific evidence that steroids help your performance after just 3 weeks. Most athletes would expect to use them for longer to get any worthwhile effect.
There'll be different increases. Everybody will increase maybe differently. So we don't know, are they all in this group? Are they all in this group? See, a steroid, from all the data we have so far, is called a training drug. So it doesn't work unless you are training. Now that's why we've got the placebo group. We don't want people to psychologically think about the idea that they've got a placebo or they've got the steroid. Because a lot of people, if they're on a drug, they think to themselves, it will make me better. Even if the drug itself doesn't have any effect, they feel better and so they actually perform better.
First up is Cowboy, attempting to beat his 60-kilo bench press and 215-kilo leg press.
Mate, I just want to lift more than what I did last time. I don't want to even know what I'm lifting at the moment, so as long as they just keep putting them on there and I'm lifting them, I don't mind.
Cowboy and Kiwi have become close friends, supporting and encouraging each other.
Very, very happy with what I did today. I did an extra 12.5 kilos on the bench press and an extra 40 on the legs, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Next up is Gary W. Gary did superbly well in the 5,000-metre run and has been making steady progress in the gym. For someone with his build, he's already shown that he can lift as much as some of the bigger-built boys. But will he have improved on his baseline results?
I'd like the results to be mine, not due to the aid of drugs or anything like that. So, but whether or not I'm on them, it doesn't bother me at all, but I don't believe I am. I can't feel or notice any changes.
Another 2.5 kilos on each side. Let's go, Gary. Come on, mate. Push, 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 push.
Mate, he's definitely changed.
First of all, did the leg press last week, or the week before was 270. This week was 327, so nearly 60 kilos. I'm pretty happy with that.
Hot on Gary's heels is the star of the shot put, Big Dan Lasdinis. Dan didn't lift as much as some in the baseline tests, but after a few weeks gym work, he's certainly expecting to show some big gains now.
Push it up, come on!
All over. Thanks, mate.
No worries, man, cheers.
So I've dropped 10 kilos. It's pathetic.
Well, I've dropped 10 kilograms off my last bench press, and I've gained about 40 on my leg press. So the leg press, yeah, I'm sort of happy with, but the bench press, not at all. I just don't feel like I've gained any strength at all overall. Haven't gained any size overall, fitness overall, nothing really. I'm just, the last couple of days, I'm just feeling like it's been a waste of 3 weeks.
Next up is Skins. Having impressed with his performance in the mini games, he too is looking for some big percentage gains.
How much is that, mate?
It was 430, isn't it?
430. 430, which is better than last time.
Okay, we're ready when you are. Okay.
Skins' bench press gains are modest, only up 5 kilos. But there's an improvement of 40 kilos on his already massive previous leg press, to reach a group record of 440 kilos. Amazingly, this is still only an overall gain of 7%.
So I feel since I've been here, I've just gone up to my normal natural strength. So I can't honestly say it's the roids. It could be just the good eating and the sleeping, and you know what I mean.
Okay, let's go all the way.
Launch! Push, 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 push!
But for all the ambiguity amongst the other volunteers about whether or not they're receiving testosterone enanthate, one athlete, Dan D, is certain that his huge 25% improvement in bench and leg press can only be down to one thing.
You reckon, bro? 100%, you on them?
Yeah, definitely. I feel strong. I don't know whether it's the training and all this testosterone we're getting, but it does feel good. I feel pretty healthy, pretty strong, and yeah, and just pretty happy, I guess, yeah. If I'm on the steroids, which I think I am, I can 95% say that I am, and just like make sure maybe more outgoing, more wanting to maybe chat to people, that sort of thing.
One person conspicuous by his absence from the midterm tests has been Barry Clitheroe. Despite his promising start, especially in the 100 metres sprint, he's not been able to shake off a shoulder injury.
Been doing that one, and that just aches a bit. But a little bit disheartened. Could mean that I'm out of the programme now. It's quite a serious injury, so to be put out by injury, I'm gutted.
Barry will continue training in endurance events just for his own interest, but as far as the science is concerned, he's history. And the misery doesn't stop there. Kyle, the tributous taker, after already finding himself on the injury list with torn hamstrings, has managed something far more spectacular. After falling off his skateboard, he's been rushed to the local casualty department.
What's the diagnosis, though?
Diagnosis?
Yeah.
Fractured wrist. So it needs to be seen by the orthopedic guys to probably put you to sleep and fix it up.
I'm good. Just another day in the life of Kyle. Just skating along, hit a rock, wasn't paying attention, dislocated my wrist, broken my wrists in a couple places.
So with Barry definitely no longer a part of the experiment, and Kyle's involvement seeming questionable now, the future of the project looks grim. There's even worse to come. Big Dan Lasdinis, although triumphant in the shot put weeks earlier, has shown signs of despondency with his lack of improvement in the gym. And he's come to a decision.
How are you?
How you going?
Yeah, good.
I've heard you're considering withdrawing from the study.
Yeah, I've made a decision, mate. I am going to withdraw. Just the main reason is I'm off to better pastures, and I'd just like to be there rather than here at the moment, yeah.
Yep, fair enough. The decision's totally yours.
No worries.
Appreciate you participating.
Yeah, thanks a lot for everything, yeah, it's been good.
Dan has been worrying about a number of things, missing his girlfriend in Canada, poor performance in the gym, and a growing unease about whether or not his low spirits were being caused by steroids.
I had a few reservations about the steroids as well, you know, so that sort of helped my decision. With a few of the side effects, like I've been getting a fair bit of acne over the last week or so, and my mood swings have accelerated. Yeah. Find myself every day sort of battling a bit of aggression, which is, you know, not normally me. We knew the consequences of taking it, the side effects and whatnot, but until you're actually in there, you don't really know how you're going to feel.
You know, I'm sure you're aware from every reaction that we see as part of the team.
Yeah, of course.
Even though he doesn't know whether he's on steroids or not, Dan has made up his mind. All that remains now is to say goodbye. After 4 weeks in each other's company, strong bonds and friendships have inevitably been formed. From this point on, it's difficult to predict what effect Dan's departure will have.
Take care of yourself, mate. I'll see you around.
Will the rest of the group stay the course?
But now that I'm, but you know what? I left for 6 hours.
Back in Canada, was he really on steroids?
Hello?
Hello, Daniel. It's Robert Weatherby.
G'day, Doc. How are you, mate?
You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm great.
You tell me what you think you were being administered. Was it the placebo or was it the testosterone?
Well, I'm not really sure, mate. Seriously, I've got my doubts about being on the, on the testosterone, and I've got my doubts about not being on the testosterone, so...
Have you got a leaning to one way or the other?
I'm not sure, to be totally honest. I'd just like you to tell me.
You were on the placebo?
I was on the placebo. So I was not on the testosterone.
No, you weren't on the testosterone.
That's good news.
Who will triumph in the mini Olympics? And will the drugs work? For 3 weeks, 24 volunteers have been taking part in a groundbreaking experiment with the legal and illegal drugs used by Olympic athletes. The volunteers are divided into a steroid group, half on steroids and half on a harmless placebo, and a training aids group who are using legal performance-enhancing drugs, aids and supplements including creatine and colostrum. After 3 weeks, tensions in the steroid group are running high. Skins' blunt refusal to swap rooms is causing problems.
You've got a big room, and I've got a piss-out little room, and I want to sleep in a big room.
Serious, but I know for a fact I cannot honestly share a room with any of you lot. No disrespect to you at all.
And Donny, Denim and Trenton, also in the steroid group, are at loggerheads, ostensibly over smashed glass.
45, it's not Roy Ranging Denim. It's bloody broken glass on the ground. That's what it is, mate. And you guys can feed your bellies, but you can't clean up glass in front of someone's bedroom.
Hey man,
just out of courtesy.
Check this out. You were here first. You were running up and down the stairs. We thought you broke the glass, and then you took off. You're running back and forth through your house with broken glass around the
No.
Yeah. Don't talk to me like that, dude.
But you know what? I left for 6 hours or 4 hours. In between them, what were you doing, Trenton?
Talk to people like
don't talk to them like all the entertainment.
Half our steroid group is being injected with the anabolic steroid testosterone enanthate, but at doses around 50 times lower than cheats would use. So, just how dangerous and widespread are legal and illegal drugs in sport?
I'm talking about how I would deal with the situation.
From the ancient Greeks to today, different kinds of drugs have been taken by athletes to enhance performance. But anabolic steroids only came to the fore in the 1950s. First the Russians, then the Americans dabbled with steroids to improve their performance. Since then, laboratories and chemists around the world have left no stone unturned in their search for the gold-winning drug. In 1988, the most famous drugs cheat of all was caught.
I actually remember very vividly watching the 1988 100 metres final, which was won by Ben Johnson, of course, and thinking it was one of the most exhilarating pieces of sport I've ever seen. It was just absolutely, there's a frisson of excitement.
But Ben Johnson's thrilling win in the men's 100-metre final was aided by stanozolol, a banned anabolic steroid.
How do you feel about Ben Johnson testing positive for steroids?
Test positive for steroids? When was that found out?
Today.
Well, that's different, man. I thought he was legit.
Although that was 16 years ago now, it's almost impossible to overstate what a wake-up call that was for the world at large and also for the world of sport.
After an initial 2-year ban, Johnson re-entered the sport, only to be caught a second time and banned for life. But rather than the Ben Johnson affair acting as a deterrent to other drug cheats, the number of positive tests at every subsequent Olympics suggests cheats are still prepared to take the risk. Late last year, FBI officers raided the laboratories of Balco in San Francisco. Its owner, Victor Conti, is accused of running Project World Record. His company is under investigation for producing and distributing THG, an anabolic steroid undetectable until just last year. It's an allegation Balco denies.
What will happen is that the athletes will always remain slightly ahead of the curve, and the Balco case, of course, in recent months has taught us exactly that athletes are ingenious people. They're also risk takers by nature, and they will continue to take dope.
British athlete Dwayne Chambers, one of Balco's clients, has already been banned for 2 years. Other high-profile names have been implicated, including world record holder Tim Montgomery and his partner, the world's greatest female athlete, Marion Jones. Both strenuously deny the allegations, and neither has tested positive for banned substances.
If they're gonna try and take someone's livelihood away based on what somebody says, I mean, that just sounds, and I would hope to all of you, it just sounds, wrong. It sounds wrong, and if they try and do that, trust me, it'll be a long process.
What Balco has done, I think, has opened the eyes of the public to seeing, the big corporations behind the scenes, and how, it's not just about, blaming the individual athlete, who very often, in some cases, is the victim as much as the villain.
The use of steroids and other illegal drugs is an ongoing war between the dope testers and the labs who secretly develop ever more sophisticated designer drugs to improve performance, yet remain undetectable.
Athletes will take drugs. They'll have all sorts of intelligent, clever, chemically trained people who will help them do it. They actually will spend quite a lot of money and effort doing it, and that generally sport over the piece is the loser.
The use of performance-enhancing drugs in sport, legal or otherwise, is both a political and moral hot potato. Even for the subjects of Dr. Weatherby's trial, there are a range of opinions.
I would get no satisfaction from winning a race knowing that I had an advantage over somebody else because of something I put into me that was a banned substance.
The sheer fact that you have to put so much work in, you're robbing yourself and other people of even more by taking drugs, by giving yourself that advantage. You know how much you're stealing from someone else.
Yeah, you're right.
If you know that other people in the race are on something, and I mean, as much as you'd like to think you could beat them naturally, the chances aren't great, and you feel as though you'd have to be on the same level as them, but at the same time, if you did happen to win, it'd be a slightly hollow victory.
They do train to win. It's a lifestyle for them. They eat it and they sleep it, and it's just what they do every day.
And if you're going to get to the Olympics and win a medal, people will use any means to get it, and that's human nature. And it'll always happen. There'll always be drugs in sport.
If everybody were on steroids, then everybody would be a fucking athlete.
A fucking athlete?
The use of performance-enhancing drugs by athletes is the biggest hurdle facing professional sport. But notions of illegality and fairness are constantly changing.
Several years ago, you would have been called a cheat for running in spikes. Now it would be unheard of to run in anything else. Those inflated bubbles that now go into the soles of athletic shoes, these would have been declared cheating. Even training itself years ago would have been seen as cheating, because a person who didn't train would have said to the person who did train, hey, you're obviously getting an advantage over me.
The 16-strong steroid group are receiving their 4th injections, but the smaller supplement group is feeling downhearted. Coach Jim Cowan is trying to boost their morale.
For science to function, somebody has to raise the questions that science is going to research. And what's really good is that out of this sort of thing, we might get some very interesting questions raised as to why something happened, why something didn't happen, things we don't know yet. And those results won't
The 6-strong legal training aids group is testing a variety of legal supplements and training aids. The creatine, colostrum and tribulus volunteers have already begun taking their doses. Jim explains the next training aid, the hypoxicator.
The unit will change the percentage oxygen within the air that the person on the exercise, in this case a bike, is breathing. So that's in very much the same way as if you go up to different altitudes, the percentage oxygen within the air that you'd be breathing normally starts to drop away.
Intermittent hypoxic training stimulates the production of more red blood cells, which help you run and train for longer.
I'm going to look at setting it at about 14%, which equates to about 3,200 metres altitude. Same height as a lot of the ski resorts in Europe. Over a period of time, we will gradually up the altitude as the athlete adapts to it.
Chris Jankulowski, or CJ, will train on the hypoxicator with a specially tailored program designed to prepare him as an endurance athlete.
Happy? Yeah. OK, so CJ is now effectively at altitude. As he's working, we can measure his responses by over his middle finger. That's going to give us feedback of what his heart rate is, so we can see how hard he's working. It's also going to give us a feedback on what's called his SpO2. That's effectively the saturation of oxygen within his blood. Does it feel like you're breathing any different air?
Yeah, like I'm breathing a little bit harder.
He's got a heart rate of 113 beats per minute. His SpO2 is currently at 90%, which is safe.
Do you feel any nausea or any dizziness or anything?
OK, give him a second. It might be easy for him to answer that with the mask off. So.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. It's just about getting the breathing right and just getting comfortable with that, and that's it.
The remaining two training aids that have yet to be administered are caffeine and pseudoephedrine, legal drugs likely to be used by many competitors in Athens.
Better take my caffeine tablets.
Chris Thompson will be testing caffeine. Widely recognised as a natural stimulant and common to all of us in coffee, tea and chocolate, it is used mostly to give an athlete a kick just before a big race, rather than as a regular training aid. It's especially useful for stamina events like the 5,000 metres, as it quickly converts the body's fat into a useful energy source. Chris will be taking 300 milligrams, which is equivalent to drinking 6 or 7 espressos in one go.
I don't normally drink tea or coffee, really, so I think it'll probably affect me more than it would do someone who's used to taking it, because obviously they'll build up a tolerance to it.
At the last Olympics, there were strict limits on how much caffeine was permissible. Now there's no limit. Chris's intake is being carefully controlled.
I'm very ill at ease with caffeine and pseudoephedrine being removed from the banned list. To some extent, I can probably live with caffeine not being on the banned list.
Today, Wayne Ross is getting his first dose of pseudoephedrine. Wayne will be given 120 milligrams, two-thirds less than an elite athlete might use.
As you know, this afternoon, Wayne, we're going to be administering you with pseudoephedrine. I've never seen anybody have a reaction to it, but we've got Pam from St John Ambulance here just in case. Feel a bit queasy or...
Pseudoephedrine is marketed as an over-the-counter decongestant. It boosts adrenaline, increases concentration and helps fight fatigue. It's thought to work better on short-distance events, such as the 100 metres. Like Steve Buckley, Wayne will now get specialist coaching with the 100 metres in mind.
Don't know if they've had any effect or not. I felt a little bit lightheaded. I just feel pretty pumped up.
The pseudoephedrine definitely can play a part in his performance, keeping him up after a heavy workout this morning and his other work through the last few days, when he probably would have been fatigued otherwise and would have had a hard time completing that session.
I'm very concerned about pseudoephedrine because of adverse health effects. It's quite possible for people to have fatal arrhythmias by taking pseudoephedrine together with quite strenuous exercise. So that's a very, very strong reason as to why there should be care in its use.
Of the original 6-strong training aids group, 2 of them are looking doubtful for the forthcoming Mini Drugs Olympics. CJ says he's still committed, despite a torn ligament.
Definitely.
Kyle looked to have ridden himself out with his broken wrist, but then these Canadians are made of tough stuff.
I start training on Saturday, get my legs and my left arm working out, so you know, there's nothing I can do about it now, just recover and then move on.
While all the boys disagree about who may or may not be on steroids, they are at least unanimous about one thing.
Okay, wiggle your toes.
None of them looks forward to injections.
I suppose it's just going to be as painful as the rest that we've had. I don't see it being any different.
Every injection I've got, it affects me where I've got tight buttocks. It's not like a fear thing, it's just painful. You know what I mean? I just feel like I get cramp all the time.
Isn't that because if it really is the gear, that's the reaction? Like people react to testosterone, but if you're not on it, you don't react to it. I mean, Cowboy, the same thing. It hurts him. Why? I mean, if anyone's on testosterone, he's on it.
He's not. Definitely, Cowboy's definitely not on it.
Yes, he is, man. Look at his arms.
All right then, I'll bet you he's not on it.
$50.
$50.
No, actually, make it. What? You want to do more than 50?
100 then.
No, we'll get $50. He's on it. Well, Skins is definitely on it because the other day he was in the pools and he was wearing his little, really tiny underwear, and these jelly beans are really the size of jelly beans.
Oh, play a hater.
Jingle Skins, jingle Skins.
Tony Chin, exerting force in a straight line, yeah?
With our Mini Drugs Olympics only a day away, there's just time for some last-minute shot put training. In order to even compete, Kyle, who'd been taking the organic steroid Tribulus, will be throwing with his wrong arm.
Good. Tally out. This way.
Nigel is on creatine, used by top-class shot putters, but his technique still needs some work.
He's sort of arcing the shot as he releases it, which is sort of dissipating the force he's creating against the ground.
Ah, shit.
Okay, let's step that line.
And Steve Buckley, who managed third place in the opening games, is looking to see if colostrum will produce real results in competition. For 6 whole weeks, these 23 young men from Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the UK and the US have lived and trained together. Tomorrow they compete against each other in our Mini Drugs Olympics. Whether they're on steroids, placebo or another legal aid, there's no doubting the ambition of all the competitors: to win.
We're on lockdown tonight due to the fact that we've got the mini games tomorrow. Obviously we've got to get as much rest as we can.
I've been watching things like Rocky, motivate myself. Eye of the Tiger, No Pain, chanting things like that round in my head.
I'm really disappointed that my leg injury didn't recover in time, and I would have given everything and anything to be there for the 5K.
I should do good in the 5,000 metres. I won the first one, so, you know, history's on my side.
Might be doing the shot put with my left hand. I've been training for that for the last couple of weeks.
See if I can go as quick as this tomorrow, eh? Slow motion.
Skinner's going to win the 100, Gary's going to win the 5K, the shot put no one knows, but I'm telling you something now, man, I'm going to come last in everything. First on the other end, last. Sorry, Mum, but these guys are young and fit. What am I supposed to do?
After 6 weeks of training, injury, walkouts, being given steroid injections or other legal supplements, all under highly secret conditions, the waiting is over. Our remaining 23 young volunteers have reached their big sporting moment, our mini-drugs Olympics. For the first time, the volunteers are competing in a proper arena. No matter how hard they've trained or how effective the drugs, none of them yet know that the results will be as important as they are surprising.
Hi, I'm Peter Mears, and as a sports commentator, let me tell you I'm fascinated by today's finale. 6 weeks after they started training, our 23 volunteers will be tested over the same 3 events, 100 metres for speed, the shot put for strength, and the 5K for endurance. Who's going to win? Will it be the steroid and placebo boys who will be wearing blue and gold, or will it be our training aid boys in the white and navy?
I was going to melt it down as well, get some more gold teeth. Hey, look at the shoes, bro. You like these shoes?
When you actually get on the field, you've got the feeling of the competition, you've got the other competitors there, the psychological impetus that occurs when people are competing, you've got the temperature can be different. All of those sorts of things are changes which occur.
Well, the stars should be in the 100 metres, Skins, Kiwi and Steve Buckley. In the 5K, Gary W.
You can smell it.
With the boxer, Chris Thompson, hot on his heels. And the shot put, well, it's anybody's grab.
I'd like to think if I performed to the best of what I think I could do, then I'd see myself in the top 5 in all 3.
It's not necessarily the winners to look for, but those who make the most dramatic improvement. There's lots of excitement and adrenaline. The boys can't wait, nor can I, so let the games begin.
Still under conditions of secrecy, but in front of friends, family and locals, we'll see if there's any improvement in speed, strength and stamina across 3 Olympic events. Our steroid group are in blue, and our training age group are in white. So in reverse order, for stamina it's the 5,000 metres, an event which shouldn't benefit from steroids.
In the 5,000 metre long race, the acceleration phase is nowhere near as important. So the probability of seeing any gains, given that it's more an endurance type race, is probably very low.
It's 12.5 laps of this 400 metre track, and they'll start in 2 lines, 2 arcs that have been drawn by random. Favourite would be Gary Whitelaw, who won this event 6 weeks ago in 19 minutes 42 seconds.
If I have a good race, I could probably win by 200 metres. If I have a bad race, I'll probably be sprinting for the line. I hope I don't have to do that.
And away they go.
So will the non-steroid group triumph? Number 6 Steve Buckley, who is well built and has trained for shorter power events on colostrum, tries to create a big gap between him and the rest, knowing that he'll fade later.
And you can see already that Steve Buckley it is who's setting the pace. The question is whether he can maintain it.
Caffeine should help number 2 Chris Thompson, and number 18 Nigel Collette on creatine hopes to do well. But the man to beat is in the steroid group. Number 19 Gary Whitelaw with the previous best of 19.42 minutes.
Jim Cowan down there giving some advice. Gary W. overhauling the fast-starting Steve Buckley.
And indeed, Steve's gamble of trying to create an unassailable lead doesn't quite pay off. Like the opening games, Gary W. soon takes control.
Looks like he's going to do what he did in the first mini-games. There's Kyle Yamamura, he's walking. 7 athletes drop out, 5 from the steroid group and 2 from the training age group. But one, Denim Note, refuses to give up. The time's 17 minutes.
Meanwhile, Gary has started on his final lap.
First time of 1942. I'd say he'd come in round about 18.5 minutes. Here's Gary W. He's got the flag, and he's going to carry the flag across the line. Well, there's patriotism for you. The Australian has got the Australian flag. He's going to run the length of the straight, carrying it with him. He mightn't be over in Athens, but he shattered his personal best. 18.25, I think, somewhere around that area. Eddie Daniels, the soccer fanatic from London, lifts his game as he comes down the sprint finish to take second place, coming in 19.5 minutes. Chris Thompson comes charging down, the boxer from Leeds, very determined. He wants to finish on a high, and that's the best finish we've seen today. Third place, once again, the placing's exactly the same as they were last time.
To watch Eddie and CT and also Wayne all go under 20 minutes in the 5,000 was exceptional. 6 weeks ago, these were not guys that could run anywhere near 20 minutes. They put a lot of heart and a lot of head into it, not just physical training. Gary improved drastically, but without being harsh on Gary, he's got a background within sport from when he was a youngster, and maybe he understands that the special kind of hurt that you need to get over and cope with in a 5,000 metres more than the others.
What Gary actually done, which I don't know if a lot of people saw at the beginning, is he went out quite hard, but he suddenly kicked in about lap 1 or 2. Done a little kick then, and I just couldn't match it, and then you're always playing catch up after that.
I think we're saying go 16.
Denham's performance was awe-inspiring. It was quite obvious from about 6 laps that he was in quite a bit of pain, and at one point I stepped up and tried to call him off the track to save himself from injury. And he just waved me away. It was his moment as far as he was concerned. There was a stand full of spectators, there was all these guys he's been training with there watching him, and he wasn't going to let them or himself down in his eyes. And he just gutted it out.
Putting their hands together and applauding him.
You know, under normal circumstances, I'd have said, you know, what an idiot, what's he doing that for? But given the setup and given what they've been through as a group of guys, it was bordering on heroic.
Well done, Kevin!
And he finishes in 26 minutes 20, but he finishes. Well, if the awards were given out for courage, Denham Noak would get a gold. The presentations for the 5,000 metres, the last event.
The top 3 places in the 5,000 metres remain the same as in week 1, 2 of them from the steroid group. Colostrum man Steve Buckley knocked 2 minutes off his time, improving by 8.6%, and his training aids colleague Chris Thompson on caffeine knocked just under a minute off his time, a performance gain of 5.1%. But it's not straightforward. Dan Davis from the steroid group, although finishing 8th on this occasion, has improved by 9.4%, the greatest improvement since the opening games. For strength, it's the shot put. Olympic cheats have used steroids in this event, but the shot put will always depend on technique. With the absence of opening games winner Big Dan Lasdinis, a number of the boys have been working hard on their throwing technique in the hope of taking his crown.
Oh, that looked a good throw. That's out there.
I'd like to come in the top 3 of the shot put.
Well over 10 metres.
In the training age group, energy-boosting creatine is the only supplement which could help. And with creatine man Nigel Collette working hard on his technique, he'll be looking to make his mark too.
Ash Haber will come up next. Here he is, the 26-year-old American, former tennis pro. His best so far.
In the opening games, Ashley Haber of the steroid group came second with a throw of 11.97 metres. The smart money says he should win today comfortably.
Good throw, lovely technique, and it's out there. Is it the best? He's got to beat 11.31.
11.84.
Now Steve Buckley, who has a best of 10.50. He really does look an athlete. A big grunt as he pumps it out there. Flexes those considerable muscles.
11.14.
Yes, he has. 11.14. Now Nigel Collette has a best of 9.55. If you look at his technique,
What matters here is how much the competitors improve. Creatine man Nigel Collette is looking to throw over 10 metres.
Not quite the front arm coming through enough.
Nigel's performance lets him down when it matters most.
9.57.
His throw is 2 metres shorter than Ashley's.
Josh McRae, who's in second place, has thrown 11.31.
The surprise of this event is Josh McRae of the steroid group, who's never thrown before. Now, does he have the strength and technique to overhaul Ashley?
Good throw. He's got the height. Has he got the distance? Didn't even grunt.
11.80.
11.80 is 4 centimetres behind Ash Haber, and so he remains in second place. And now Kyle Yamamura. Team Canada has had 2 fouls. Let's hope he can get one out with his left hand, not his normal throwing hand. It's legal. Good on you, Kyle. Well done.
8:18.
Terrific effort from Carl Yamamura.
The shot put's a highly technical event, and with Nigel, what he's done is a couple of times in training he's hit a really good put, but for the next 10 or 15 he's gone flat again. He's not really got the technique to a point. I think yesterday, had he hit one in his 3 throws, we could have seen him actually win the competition from what he's been doing in training. Unfortunately, he just didn't get his head around what he was doing yesterday, and that, of course, gives us not much feedback on how the creatine affected him. I think looking at him in training, then there was definitely an effect from the creatine in his strength gains, in his power, his explosiveness.
I don't think it was anything to do with the creatine. I had some today, my performance 5 grams. No, it was just me today, definitely. Just had a flat day on the throw there. Don't think it was competition or anything, just didn't put it all together.
In third place from the UK with a distance of 11.14 metres, Steve Buckley. In second place with a distance...
It's a mixed showing for the training aids group with an average 3.1% improvement. But the most improved is in the steroid group. Denim Noak finishes 5th, leaping from 10th with a performance gain of 15.9%. But the 100 metres is a different proposition entirely. How will the steroid group fare in the premier event?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me? Because we're ready for the 100 metres.
In our Mini Drugs Olympics, we've seen 2 out of 3 events. Now it's the ultimate Olympic event, the 100 metres. In the supplements group, Wayne Ross takes his pseudoephedrine. He'll be looking for a definite benefit in this race, as it'll boost his adrenaline. There are 23 competitors in the Mini Drugs Olympics, so this event will be run in 3 heats. In Heat 1, everyone is from the steroid group. But who is actually on steroids, and who is on placebo? The winner of Heat 1 is Gary B. His winning time of 12.9 seconds is nearly 2 seconds faster than his previous best.
That's good. That's good. That's all I can say, really.
Heat 2 includes Gary W. and Eddie Daniels, who consider themselves stamina men. If either of them are on steroids rather than placebo, will it help them in this explosive event? And creatine guinea pig Nigel Collette is the sole training aids representative. He didn't even manage to finish the 100 metres in week 1. In the event, Danny Jackson wins in 12.39 seconds and shaves half a second off his opening games time.
Danny Jackson was a revelation. In 100 metres, he was seeded down the field, it just exploded out of his blocks and ran away from the guys he was racing.
Who came in the other places? I don't know, I wasn't looking behind me. I was just looking forward and running.
The final 100-metre race features possibly the strongest field. Less than a second separated the top 4 in the opening games. Kiwi came 3rd and Ashley 4th. But this was always going to be a grudge match between Skins in the steroid group.
I've told you, Steve, from day one, I'm the man round here, yeah?
And Steve Buckley on colostrum.
I want to get 12.5 seconds or below in the 100 metres.
And I might add that Kiwi's two sons are actually here today watching him. They'll be cheering for the man from New Zealand. On their blocks for heat 3, the final heat of the 100 metres. And away, and Steve Buckley got away well. Skins got a great start too. It's Skins who's left to the lead from Steve Buckley. Kiwi's falling back on the outside. Ash Haber's running strongly, but Skins looking like an Olympic athlete. Wins it easily. Second was Steve Buckley and third Ash Haber. What a beautiful run from Skins. He really looked like he should be in Athens. There's the time. 11.52 for Vincent Hall. Well, that's far and away the best time that we've seen in the 3 heats today.
The one individual that impressed me the most was Skins in the 100 metres. It wasn't just about the way he ran the race, it was about the way he dominated the approach to the race. Everybody waited for him on the start. He psychologically just bossed everybody before the starter had even said on your marks. There was no way the guy was going to lose. His whole attitude, psychologically, physically, the way he prepared himself, and the way he carried himself after crossing the line, it was reminiscent. Okay, only 11.5 seconds, but it was reminiscent of watching a good quality sprinter going through the motions. That greatly impressed me.
There was a tough break though for Kiwi, especially in front of his two watching sons. He had his hopes of a win shattered by a poor start.
Can't believe it.
If he didn't slip, he would have won.
Of the training aids group, with the various different substances that the athletes have been taking, I think the most interesting reaction was the colostrum with Steve Buckley. He slimmed down quite substantially in the 6 weeks. Technically, he's improved as an athlete with the training that he's done. He's starting to look more like a sprinter than a weightlifter who runs. And that's quite an important difference. But his explosiveness at the start, the way he powered out the first 20, 30 metres, I think suggests that from the explosive point of view there was some payback from the colostrum that he's been taking. It's always going to be difficult to say, but in 6 weeks training to develop that sort of start is pretty much unheard of. So I think there was probably some sort of feedback there with the colostrum.
I was disappointed, but I guess the best man won at the end.
When I came here, I told you I was going to win the 100 metres, which I did by far. And I've came here today to this glorious stadium with all these beautiful people here and the rest of the crowd here, and I've showed you once again that I am the number one.
The guy that came second, who was part of the naturals, do you think that if he had testosterone inside his system running it, do you think he would have beaten you?
No, definitely not.
In third place, Ashley Haber with a time of...
First and second remain unchanged, Skins improving by 7%. But 4 of the top 5 places here are taken by the steroid group. As yet, we don't know whether they might be benefiting from testosterone or if they're on placebo. But for overall improvement, it was Josh McRae from the steroid group. Although he finished second last in his heat, he clocked up an 11.1% performance gain in 6 weeks. Dr. Weatherby's 6-week experiment is nearly over. The volunteers can now look forward to finding out whether it's possible steroids help them, or if they've just spent the last 6 weeks being painfully injected with a placebo.
Check up higher now, 37.8.
First, though, it's back into the lab to see what's happened to their bodies and what the science can tell us from the final tests. A series of detailed skin fold measurements must be taken at precise points to help determine body fat content. They will also repeat cycle sprints, bench and leg presses, and conclude the psychological tests.
The tests that we've been doing in the lab is first of all what's called anthropometry, which is a measure of a person's size and physique, such as their body weight and their girths, and what are called skin folds, which measures their body fat composition. The other measures were performance measures, a 10-second cycle sprint, bench press and leg press. We're doing those as a way of measuring a change when a person is administered the testosterone in athlete. You feel you've got an idea by looking at them who you think might be on steroids?
Possibly an idea. So my thoughts on Gary is that he's actually on steroids.
The boys have been guessing all along. Now it's the scientists' turn.
I actually think Jeff was on steroids.
The scientists can guess, but the real answers have been held under lock and key.
Robert, I've got the codes for you.
Although it's not part of the scientific study, this is a chance for our volunteers to consider whether the drugs may have helped in competition. So, after 6 weeks, who was on steroids and was it all worth it?
That was the envelope that was in the safe, which contained it, and I've obviously taken it out now, and there, as you see it, is the pieces of paper with all the data of who was and who wasn't on the steroid. Now, the one question I'm going to ask you when you come up is what you think you were being given, the steroid or the placebo. So in alphabetical order then, it's Martin Black, who's the first one, and what do you think you're on?
I don't think I was.
You think you're on the placebo?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Martin, you were on the placebo. Okay, Eddie Daniels.
Eddie's big result was coming second in the 5,000 metres, beating his original time by just over a minute, a gain of 5%. In the lab tests, he consistently improved. Was he helped by steroids?
Placebo.
You think you're on the placebo?
Yep.
You were right. You were on the placebo. Okay, Dan Davis.
Acid.
Surfer Dan was the biggest improver all round. Most improved in the 5,000 metres, second most improved in the 100 metres, and third most improved in the shot put. He's responded well to the training.
What do you think?
Yeah, testosterone.
You think you're on the steroid?
Yeah.
Guess what? You were. Thanks for being a part of the research. Really appreciate it. Donnie Factory.
Placebo, for sure.
Placebo for sure. Guess what? Placebo. Thank you. Thanks for being a part of it. Okay, Cam Griffiths.
Can I take a 50-50?
It means you're not sure, or?
No, yeah, I think I'm on placebo.
You think you're on placebo? You were on placebo. Okay, Ashley Haber. They seem to think you're on the steroid.
Former tennis pro Ashley took a second off his time in the 100 metres, finishing third, but he threw less in the shot put and didn't finish the 5,000 metres at all. He was nervous about being given steroids.
I think I was on the placebo.
You think you're on the placebo? Okay. You're on the steroid. Vincent. Vincent, what do you think you were on?
Skins dominated the 100 metres. No one could touch him. But he also thought his body was changing and that his mood was becoming more volatile.
I'd like to say placebo, but because I got a bit of tension in my nipples, might be there. I've never thought that before. But anyway, roids.
You think you're on the steroid?
I'm more...
Well, your leaning's correct. You're on the steroid. Okay, Danny Jackson. What do you think?
Placebo.
You think you're on the placebo? Steroid.
Danny surprised everyone by exploding out of the blocks in the 100 metres. Could this have been helped by being on the steroids?
Okay, Wayne Jellick.
Positive placebo.
What's a positive placebo?
100%.
Well, your positiveness was right. You were on the placebo. Thanks, Wayne. Now we've got Josh McRae.
Placebo.
You think you're on placebo? You were on the steroids.
Josh was a first-time thrower in our mini drugs Olympics, but still managed to come second, only 4 centimetres behind winner Ashley, who was also on steroids.
Denham. A bit shaky, isn't it?
Placebo.
Yeah, placebo.
Denham's greatest achievement was his determination to finish the 5,000 metres at any cost. He was the biggest improver in the shot put. Could this have been down to the placebo effect?
Trenton Rosted. What do you reckon?
I think I'm on the roids.
That's pretty positive, isn't it? You're right. You're on a steroid. David Sedgwick. David?
You can't tell?
Yeah, mate.
So what do you think, David?
No, he'll get $50. He's on it.
Yeah, I bet you he isn't guaranteed.
If he's not on it, man, you've seen a psychologist after this thing, man. I'm paying for all the visits, mate.
I'll have a go at steroids, mate.
Why do you say that?
Well, I've been getting a bit fat in the face.
But if I told you otherwise, you'd be not surprised.
Some days I think I'm on it, some days I think I'm not, so it just depends.
Okay. Well, you're on the steroid.
Naz is still waiting for his bet to be paid.
Thank you. Okay, Jeff Shea.
Jeff made little improvement in training, and no one thinks he's on steroids.
What do you think?
I have no idea. I'll say placebo.
Steroid. And now we've got Gary Whitelaw. What do you think?
I'd have to say I was counting.
You're counting,
Yeah. So I'm on this side, none.
What's this one?
Placebo.
Placebo. Is there any other reason why?
I'm just small.
Well, you're right. You were on placebo. Well, that's it.
At the 5,000 metres, 3 out of the top 5 were in the steroid group. But we now know they were all on placebo.
When I look at the results of the 5K, the truly amazing thing is that only 4 out of the 9 who were administered testosterone actually finished. And in terms of why or explanations, it's very difficult to think at this stage what it might be.
As expected, steroids don't seem to feature in this event, but Chris Thompson did feel definite benefits from taking caffeine. Does the 100 metres tell a different story? The steroid group dominated this event in the final Mini Drugs Olympics with 4 of the 5 fastest times. Of those, all 4 were on steroids, none on placebo.
In the 100 metres event, it's very interesting to look at the placings and the timings and the improvements that occurred, because there's certainly a trend that the people who were administered testosterone in Athens did better than those overall who had been administered the placebo.
Overall in the 100 metres, those on steroids increased by an average of 8.29%, while those on placebo improved by 3.29%. Interestingly, the training age group improved by an average 3.45% in this event. The hard science can only come by analysing the data. At the end of July, Dr. Weatherby and his team started doing just that. Last week, they delivered their initial results to us, and they're quite astounding.
The results that we've seen in the laboratory-based performance tests are fairly much what we would expect to see at 6 weeks, but the really important ones are the changes that we've seen at 3 weeks, much earlier than has been seen in previous testing, and really exciting. And those changes are in the 10-second cycle sprint, the total work, and also in the bench press.
Total work measures your total energy output over 10 seconds. After just 3 weeks, those on placebo increased by an average of 0.2%, but those on steroids increased their total work by a staggering 8.1%.
That's telling us that the changes which occur when testosterone is administered are occurring quite rapidly.
Until now, sports enthusiasts have expected performance gains after 6 to 10 weeks of steroid use and at a much higher dose. But Dr. Weatherby also discovered earlier results in the test which records upper body strength, the bench press. At 3 weeks, those on placebo increased the weight they could press by 1.8%, while those on steroids could press 8.2% more.
If a person, as part of their training program, is tempted to use an anabolic type steroid, I think it's certainly going to improve their chances of winning a gold medal. I don't think it's going to guarantee it to them, but given the laboratory-based tests, which show clearly an improvement in performance, it's certainly not going to hinder their ability to win a gold medal.
But that doesn't mean taking illegal drugs is without risk or worth the cost. Dr. Weatherby's team also measured two possibly worrying side effects to steroid use. Sonia Marshall-Gradisnik has been studying the effect of the steroid on the body's natural killer cells, a type of white blood cell which destroys other cells containing viruses and tumours. Worryingly, these results indicate that steroids may compromise this important part of the immune system in its fight against those cells containing viruses and tumours.
We found there was a significant decrease between the two groups, the testosterone group and the placebo group, at week 6. So it means that the natural killer cell, its activity or its job to kill specific virus cells or to kill specific tumours isn't actually working at its optimal level. And that potentially may make them susceptible to infection and compromise their health.
You're running back and forth through your house with broken glass around it. Yeah.
But what about the moodiness and aggression our volunteers experienced? Roid rage is commonly thought to be a side effect of steroid use, but Dr. Weatherby's study suggests there may be something far deeper going on.
During the time that they were on testosterone, and this finding was quite significant, is that they expressed less empathy for those around them, and there was a decrease in their consideration for other people's feelings.
I'm talking about me as an individual, not about how you would do it. I'm talking.
Curiously, these results also indicate that steroid users lost a sense of self, which may make them more likely to obey orders. This finding is contrary to the commonly held belief that steroids increase self-confidence and self-esteem.
We've got individuals that are moving towards perhaps becoming more compliant, if you like, and perhaps moving into a mode where they are maybe becoming less responsible for their actions.
We've got quite strong indications here of serious adverse health responses as a result of a use of this drug.
Come check it out. Yeah.
So help me out. Lift all the big weights, bro. Good to see you.
For 6 weeks, 24 unpaid volunteers left their families, friends and lives to take part in the groundbreaking experiment.
What is really important is to acknowledge how these subjects have suffered discomfort, inconvenience, the loss of time, the loss of income maybe, in terms of being able to further scientific research. And for that, I'm truly grateful.
If somebody else said, how did it go, I wouldn't bring up any negative aspect. I mean, I've took an awful lot from it, learned an awful lot from it, the training, the people. Yeah, I'm going to go away with some lifelong buddies as well, so there's no complaints at all about it, you know.
Well, I mean, I definitely learned a lot about training, and I met some great friends. A spontaneous adventure that turned out to be, you know, something that I'll take with me.
I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle at the start because I'm going to miss the boys, but it's been a great experience, and it's going to leave me in good stead for the future.
While the volunteers return home and the science teams spend the next few months finalising their data, Dr. Weatherby's initial results suggest that steroids might help you at Athens, but that the cost physically, psychologically and medically could be high. Our work is now done, but Athens may bring further revelations. Let the games begin.